Hello everyone, welcome to Study IQ English. The Sahel region from Africa is in the news quite often. Sometimes because of ongoing ethnic violence, sometimes because of high levels of humanitarian crisis, hunger, deprivation, as well as rapid climate changes. Once again, today there is a news that the very ambitious Great Green Wall project that stretches from the heart of the Sahel region, which was created back in 2007 with the purpose of combating desertification of this area, to create more vegetation, to make the region more lustrous and green. Today, there is a report that the entire Great Green Wall project has not achieved the desired amount of success and that the achievement has been stalled. The desired output in terms of spreading the forest area has been very, very low. The reason could be bureaucratic delay, the reason could be civil war, it could be the lack of finance. It could also be the rapid climate change. But all in all, unfortunately, this very ambitious plan of creating one of the largest known greenification belts in the world has not seen as much progress as it was supposed to. And that's the news right now. So let's quickly talk about the Great Green Wall Initiative. If you remember last month in the news, we were also talking about how in India, in the Aravalli region, the green belt area was highlighted. But this time we are talking about the very well known Sahel region of Africa. So, what is Sahel region? Quite an important topic for the UPSC exam. It can also be questioned in the places in the news segment in the prelims. Sahel region is the semi arid, transitional belt that stretches across Africa. It is almost located between the Sahara Desert in the north and the very humid savanna region in the south. So it is located at a very critical junction. It's almost like a zone of change, a zone of transition. And the word Sahel basically comes from the Arabic word which means shore or the coast. So it means an edge of the vast Sahara Desert. Today it's in the news because back in 2007, it was the African Union countries which had adopted a resolution. The resolution was to fight against the increasing desertification, the turning of land into dry, unfit for use, sandy, arid zone. That was supposed to be mitigated. How? By creating a huge man made green wall. The green wall was a symbol of a large spread of vegetation in the entire Sahel area. As you can see from the image on the screen, it was supposed to be stretching through the heart of the Sahel. It was about restoring the land, ecological preservation, reclaiming the land which is quickly becoming desert, to combat the quick process of desertification. Now, this is especially relevant news at a time when the whole world is busy talking about climate mitigation. The whole world is busy about calculating their nationally determined contributions. Recently, the United Nations General Assembly meeting happened in the New York, where India also quite proudly announced that yes, we will in fact reduce up to 45% of the GDP, our total carbon emission. Because even we understand in India that the entire Aravalli area is also becoming desertified with every passing decade. There is a huge change. And same is happening with Africa. Now, Sahel anyway represents such a zone which is dry, which is prone to more climate change as compared to other countries of Africa. Plus, it is also an area where most people are pastoralist, farmers. They experience quite a high rate of poverty and displacement. And hence, in 2007, the plan was to stop denudation of land, to control the level of desertification by planting at least 100 million hectares of vegetation. The plan was to cover the area with trees so that about 250 million metric tons of carbon can be sequestrated. It can be taken care of, it can be controlled. If you have noticed in the last 1 week, every day in the news, we do have a similar topic. Today it is about the Sahel area, the Great Green Wall project. 2 days back, it was also about the new strategy by which countries are now planning to capture the carbon dioxide from atmosphere, from industries, store it underground, and then convert it into green energy. I had made a video on that. Similarly, today, as we talk about the Sahel region and the very ambitious Great Green Wall project, it was also very ambitious initially because it aimed at creating 10 million jobs, green jobs, jobs which use environmental friendly techniques by 2030. Initially, it started with a great hue and cry. It was a very ambitious project, and yes, it did achieve some milestones. Today, down the lane, we do realize that perhaps the amount of target is falling behind. We really have not achieved as much greenification as was thought. In fact, it is Ethiopia which has experienced a lot of vegetation under the project, but most other countries have not exactly received the benefit that was thought about. Okay, and under this project, initially in 2007, all the African Union countries had also decided to cover about 8,000 kilometers of land with trees, with vegetation. The area is massive, 8,000 kilometers. It spreads from Djibouti in the West Africa to the Horn of Africa, the protruding area in Africa that's called the Horn of Africa near Ethiopia. Now, Sahel countries, as we know, are usually in the news because of ethnic violence, because of communal violence, because of displacement, repeated political coups. It is a region that is, as I said, a transitional zone between the desert in the north, the Great Sahara Desert, as well as the savanna in the south, which is thickly forested. Usually, which countries are covered here? So, normally, the countries that are associated with the Sahel region are the Mauritania, Senegal. We have Burkina Faso, Mali, Chad, Sudan, Nigeria, Eritrea, and Cameroon. And let's understand not only political instability, hunger, humanitarian crisis, this area is also very sensitive to climate change. In the last few years, temperatures have exceeded their normal limits. There is usually zero to extremely scanty rainfall. Sometimes heat waves are an ongoing problem. And in this regard, it is crucial that a project like the Great Green Wall should have achieved its target because the ecological implication, the side effect of the droughts that this area experiences, has taken a heavy toll on the lives of children, women, elderly. It is a humanitarian crisis, and droughts are very common in the Sahel area. Why? Because naturally the desert area is only expanding. According to the World Bank, Sahel area's population will also grow from about 200 million to 340 million by 2050. So the area will also experience a high population growth. We understand that usually higher fertility rates are associated with communities that are under poverty trap, and some similar vicious cycle is happening here too. So by 2050 the population will be quite high, that's 340 million, but the people here do not have the kind of jobs, livelihoods to support the growing population. No wonder hunger, malnourishment are common occurrences. Now, United Nations reports also has pointed out quite sadly that about 4% of the Great Green Wall objectives for 2030 have been achieved. And apart from, say, Ethiopia, most countries are falling short of the target. So now it looks like perhaps it was an overambitious plan because 4 million hectares of land has been restored, but the goal was to restore 100 million. And even if you see the latest data, even if we believe that more than 10 million hectares has been restored, still we are falling short of the total target. So it is in the process right now. But overall, desertification is not just a threat for Sahel, it is a threat for the whole world. In India, we often speak about how the denudation of Aravalli mountain has also created desertification in the area that's near Rajasthan NCR. In fact, the government really wants to do something about it immediately. And now let's quickly also talk about the United Nations Convention to Combat Desertification. A very important question for GS Paper 3, climate mitigation, anti-desertification programs. So here, let's understand that created back in the 1994, the United Nations Convention on Combating Desertification, abbreviated as UNCCD, is the first and the only legally binding framework treaty that was created to solve the problem of land desertification, land becoming desert, and the problems associated with drought, the shortage of water. It is one of the three conventions that come under the banner of three Rio Conventions. What is the objective of UNCCD? The main objective is to provide vegetation reclamation of dry denuded land to control the effects of drought. It focuses on dry lands that are presently about 40% of the Earth's land surface area. Plus, it also talks about sustainable regulated land management policies. It does support the implementation of all 17 sustainable development goals because ultimately, when we reclaim land, when we make it fertile and vegetated, we are only trying to support SDGs number 1 and 2, zero hunger, zero poverty. SDG 13, SDG 7 and 6, which all talk about water conservation, which talk about creating sustainable population habitation, urbanization. So it's all a very integrated policy. Now, as I said, there are three broad Rio conventions, of which the UNCCD was just a small part. So these Rio conventions are all associated with the 1992 Rio Earth Summit. And what are the three conventions? One is the Convention on Biological Diversity, biodiversity. Second, UN Framework Convention on Climate Change, very common one, UNFCCC. And the third is the one that we just spoke about, UNCCD. Now, before I show the question to you, there is one question I want to ask you. If you really have heard about desertification before, if you keep following developments in this regard, then do you know whether India is a party? Rather, is India a party to any of these Rio conventions? Has India ratified them? Yes or no? You can let me know in the comment box. It is a very, very dynamic and relevant UPSC topic. So if you have any opinion about it, if you have any case study you want to share, then please do feel free to share your opinions and then we can pick it up as a discussion thread for you. Now, quickly, let me also post another prelims practice question here. Consider the following statements regarding the Great Green Wall Initiative. One, it is an African-led movement. The aim is to stop the process of desertification across the Sahel belt of Africa. Two, the initiative aims to create a green and productive landscape which stretches from Senegal in the west to Djibouti in the east. And then the last is India is a full member of the Great Green Wall Agency and contributes financial help for its implementation. So which of these statements do you think are correct or is correct? You can also post your answer and re-verify that here. Now, before I take your leave, a quick reminder, because today is the last day. This is 11th October 2025. It is also the day when our Great Indian Festival sale is coming to an end. So you can make advantage of this huge discounted price, which begins only at 7499, especially for those who are appearing for UPSC exam next year, that's 2026. Because this is the fast track badge that we have. So whether it's English, that's your medium, whether it's Hindi, whether it's bilingual, whether you prefer morning or evening badge, all that is happening now. So please enroll for the sale should you wish to give a more professional touch to your preparation. And the easy way out is to type the code SPLIVE on your screen. It's right here. But then if you want us to get back to you, you want more discussion and clarity, you can fill a small form that's here in the description box of the video, this video. And somebody will get back to you from the backend team and you can discuss about the sale. Plus, if you're preparing for 2028, then also we have great GS Foundation courses for you at a heavily discounted price. 18,999 only to, for 2028, 33,999. Which includes GS, essay writing, current affairs, breaking news, CSAT, answer writing practice, and heavy off on optional as well. So in case you're interested, do let us know. Thank you so much for being with us. Do like, share, and subscribe us if you enjoy these short, crisp information bullets. Thank you.